Hey friends, today we are going to discuss about virus. But first let's have a review on our previous lesson. If you remember, we studied about classification. We said that according to the new classification there were 3 domains, and that 3 domains can further be divided to 6 kingdoms, and that 6 kingdoms were like Archaebacteria, EU bacteria, Protista, Planta, Fungi and Animalia. And these 6 kingdoms had different type of cells like prokaryotic and eukaryotic, and they were unicellular or multicellular or both. We discussed about each of them, but today's topic is something interesting, because they say that that structure that we're going to study today doesn't possess any sort of cell. It means it is nor eukaryotic neither prokaryotic, and also in a certain period of time, in this certain period of their lifetime, they can be non-living, and after a time, after meeting something else, after getting a host for example, they can show living thing characteristics, and this is so much strange about that. So today's lesson is interesting. Be with me till the end of the lesson and learn about virus. Is it living or non-living? Finding some reasons that why we are so much sure that it is non-living in a certain period of time, and its characteristics, types, and the way it can affect the host. So now let's start our lesson with a question. What is virus? We are talking about that guy. So certainly virus is a Latin word, and meaning of that word is poison, and poison is a substance which is effective, which can cause 2 different illnesses, or even to the death. And the other thing we have to know about virus is it's so much tiny, it's so much small. For observing virus we might need a microscope. Without having a light microscope, they are not visible. Even we can measure their size, like it's about 20 up to 300 nanometers. Nanometers a unit of metric system, which is like 1 billionth of a meter. So we can guess how tiny, how small these organisms are. Next question is, are viruses living or non-living? I told you before that in a certain period of their lifetime they are non-living. So we can say biologists also considered virus to be non-living. But how? So now we are going to discover with some reasons that why they are non-living actually. So now let's analyze the chart. Over there is some characteristics, characteristics of living organism, and we are comparing virus cell with a regular normal animal cell. Okay, so the first thing that we want to compare is their structure. According to structure, this is the structure of a bacteriophage or a virus which can infect bacteria. As you see, only possess DNA or RNA and a capsid or a cover. So virus is only made up of genetic material, which is DNA or RNA, one of them, and a cover. But in a cell, if it's eukaryotic or prokaryotic, both of them would have cell membrane, cytoplasm. But if it's eukaryotic, there will be nucleus and some organelles as well. So in cell there is cytoplasm, cell membrane, and blah 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 structures. But in virus there is only DNA or RNA and a cover. That's it. So about their reproduction, virus only can reproduce, can make copies of itself if it is inside a host or inside another living organism. But about virus, it is necessary to have a host, but in other cell they are independent, means they do not need any other organism for reproducing. They can reproduce by themselves. So they are doing cell division, for example, they are making copies of themselves, and their reproduction can be asexual or sexual, like mitosis or meiosis stages. And about their genetic code. So what is genetic code? Genetic code is something which is storing information about our different generations, or about some things which is necessary for carrying on our daily routine. For example, the code of making different sort of proteins or different sort of things inside our body is getting stored in genetic material. So the virus genetic information is being coded or stored in DNA or RNA. I mean, one of them is enough. But in cell, there is only DNA, which is responsible for storing code. And about their growth and development, there is no growth, no development in virus. But cell can develop, cell can grow, as usually eukaryotic cell is in a multicellular organism. By increasing amount of or number of cells, the owner of that cell can grow. And also virus doesn't require any energy for carrying on the life processes, but in cell there is energy is required. Without energy, cell cannot do anything. And about response to environment, it doesn't matter what is around virus is not responding. But in cell, for example, protist, which is which got a eukaryotic cell, is sensitive against light and changing over time. I mean, only thing which is mutual between virus and cell is changing over time. For example, you might hear that expression that virus corona is an updated version of SARS and MERS virus. So we can get that virus also can update itself. So according to that features, that characteristics of living organisms, we can consider, we can understand that loss of features were no for the virus. So that's why, because there is lack of cell structure, lack of growth and development, lack of energy, lack of response, and other features. So that's why we proved that virus is non-living. So now let's discuss about types of virus. So according to its function or according to their host, we can divide virus into different types. First is plant virus, or a virus which can infect only plants with that shape. As you can see, the only structures that they got is like capsid or a cover and their genetic material, which is RNA in that place. Second type of virus is animal virus. A virus which can infect animal. As you can see, there is a protein surface or a surface which is protecting it. Then there is a capsid or a protein code, and inside there is a genetic material which is also RNA on that virus. And the third sort of virus is bacteriovirus or bacteriophage, or a virus which can only infect bacteria. And as you see, its structure is a bit different, with core and sheet, head and neck, and different structures it can got. Okay. As we said, viruses are like agents which can cause to different illnesses. Now we are going to see different shapes of virus with their diseases. Like there is HIV virus, there is hepatitis B virus, there is Ebola virus, again bacteriophage or a virus which can infect bacteria, influenza, and also adenovirus. These are different viruses which can cause to different diseases with their different shapes. Now let's talk about characteristics of virus. So first of all, we have two viruses over there. There is a bacteriophage or a bacteriovirus, and there is influenza virus. According to its shape, we can guess that it is an animal virus. The first thing we have to understand that some viruses might got a membrane envelope, which is like functioning like their protective layer, but as we said, some of them might have this. As you can see, in animal virus there is a membrane, but in bacteriophage there is no membrane. The other thing we have to know that is sometimes they might have spikes, structures like this, like in purple color circular structures we have got over there. With the help of that purple structures, which are spikes, the virus can attach itself to some surface. I mean, to outer cover of cell, host cell, for example. And the other thing we have to know that is each virus got a specific host. It means that animal virus cannot infect bacteria, and that bacteria virus cannot infect animals. It means most of the viruses got their specific host and they are infecting that specific hosts. And the other thing we have to know about virus structure is they might have a protein cover or protein coat, as you can see over there and over there, which is being called as capsid. Their protein code name is capsid. Okay. And the next thing that they have got is a nucleic acid core. Nucleic acid is DNA or RNA, and inside virus the only structure which is inside virus is neither it's DNA or RNA. It means they have a nucleic acid core or a core which got a nucleic acid inside of it, and their nucleic acid can be DNA or RNA. It means they cannot possess both of them, they might have only one of them. And virus is only capable of reproduction or making copies of itself. It is inside a host cell. It means if there is no host cell, they cannot make copies of itself. And yes, now we are going to see the main process of their reproduction. As you can see over there, there is a bacteria cell and there are bacteriophages. The first stage, bacteriophages attaching themselves with the help of spikes to the outer membrane of the bacteria, sending their genetic material inside. Their genetic material is mixing with the genetic material of the bacteria, and in the next stage, new viruses are getting produced inside bacteria, and they can explode the bacteria cell and come out from bacteria. So that was all for virus topic. I hope you enjoyed and learned. Thanks for being with me till the end of the lesson.